I was working in the lab late one night when out the corner of my eye I had a great fright. There was a ghastly creature with 8 long legs, and I was oh so afraid I just had to stop and beg. "Mr. Spider, please leave me alone," I cried, but deep down I could see a hunger in his eyes. He slowly crept forward, baring his fangs. So I reached for my clipboard and went bang, 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 bang. This week I played Kill It With Fire, a cool little indie game where you're playing as an exterminator, moving through different levels, trying to eliminate all of the spiders while working through a list of some other tasks as well. The weapons you get and the challenges to take out the spiders get more creative and comedic as you go along, and it was a great time. Also, just a weird coincidence that earlier in this year I played Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion, and then Turnip Boy Robs a Bank came out the next week. I happened to start this game, and then Kill It With Fire 2 came into early access like 4 days later, and this isn't sponsored, and I had no idea that that was happening until it came up on Steam, but hey, maybe if you like this video, I'll check that one out too at some point. I hope you enjoy Kill It With Fire. This game gets right into it, and it doesn't mess around with any fancy pre-story animation. We spawn into a mission called First Contact, and we walk down a fairly plain looking hallway where we open up a drawer, and then we see our first contact. So now that we know why we've been hired as the exterminator, we can make our way deeper into the house and find our trusty clipboard. This is going to be the one constant throughout this game, as it gives us the list of all the objectives we need to complete in each of the levels. When you're in the levels of this game, there are 2 different things that can gatekeep you from accessing new stuff. The locks with the check marks that you can get into by completing that number of objectives, and the kill objectives, which can only be accessed after you've reached that number of spider kills. These are also the things that normally gatekeep you from moving on to the next level. But in this case, it's a little bit too early to leave the level just yet, and instead we find our tracker, which can be used to track different spiders that are hidden throughout the level, and they also get a fair amount of upgrades later on. There are a couple things that we need to collect throughout all of the levels of this game, and we're not super focused on that our first time through, but we will need to get them eventually, and we do make a little bit of progress here when we find our first of the tracker upgrades, the flashlight. After exploring this first level a little bit more, we've made some okay progress. We've killed a couple of spiders at this point, but we decide it's time to get a little bit more destructive. We find a little bit more firepower, and you can probably guess, if we're already getting to like a flamethrower in the first level, just how crazy things are going to get later on. Every level in this game also has something called an arachno gauntlet, things where you need to kill spiders doing special challenges in a set amount of time. So this first level has one where you need to kill spiders using a revolver without reloading. Now I assumed I don't have the revolver yet, this is probably something where I'll have to come back later. But actually, I just missed the revolver on the first level, so I'll have to come back later. It wasn't the most clean run you've ever seen, and we'll have to come back quite a few times later on throughout the rest of the game, but we have managed to scrape our way through finishing up the first level of Kill It With Fire. The second level in this game is called Close Encounters. Now, we've just moved a little bit deeper into the house, so our setting hasn't gotten super crazy yet, but it's kind of introducing the different level concept. This level also introduces a couple new things, some new spiders, a new upgrade that is just out in plain sight and not hidden behind a locked door, the second of the many collectibles present in this game in the form of the batteries, a new mother spider that explodes into a bunch of babies when you take it out, and a classic double-barrel shotgun hiding in the closet. And we took that shotgun to get 10 spider kills in 60 seconds to complete our first of the arachno gauntlets. And with all of that wrapped up, we can finally make our way to level 3. The third level is called Domestic Duties. Now we've moved even deeper into the house, into the kitchen, laundry room, and garage. But don't worry, not everything in this game is happening inside of this house, as we'll be heading outside after this. This level brings me my trusty frying pan, who becomes my off-court buddy throughout the rest of this game. And we use our drying pan to earn our first achievement, Just Say Nope, for killing a jumping spider mid-jump completely on accident. This level also introduces the snack weapon. There are a lot of variations of these different snacks, and you can feed them to spiders to transform them in different ways. And after feeding and frying up a couple spiders, we are able to move on to level 4. Level 4 is called Down the Spider Hole. This is our first level outside, and it's a little interesting because this was also This level gives us a cool lawnmower that we can ride around on cutting the grass, which I mess around with for honestly way more time than I should have committed. But for some reason while walking around this level, things just seemed different from the other levels we had played. I can't seem to be able to do like any of our challenges, so I just decided to leave after I had killed enough spiders, and this actually ended up being a good choice because we wouldn't have been able to do much here anyway. We left the grass partially unmowed to move to a level where we can actually make some progress, this time being Major Inconvenience, a gas station level. I'm given a mission to blow up the propane tank out back, and I'm in for a rude awakening when I find out that not all video games work like Grand Theft Auto 5. That's so weird. But we do manage to up our firepower a little bit and blow the walls right off of this gas station. And that's pretty much all this level wrote for right now. I mean, there was other stuff too, but how are you going to top that big explosion? The next level is called Garden of Evil, but this isn't really like your average garden. This level introduces spiders with a new ability. They can shoot webs and blind you, and we earn our second achievement, Blind Justice, for killing a spider while webbed. Proceeding through the level, we find a trimmer, which I was so excited to get using, I accidentally revealed the secret of this level, that we're in a hedge maze. So my excitement about having a companion for my mower actually made some good progress. I felt pretty confident I would get something for removing all of the hedge maze walls, and we do get the achievement Extreme Landscaping. After that, we can move on to the level Barnstormer, a cool, open, kind of farmer's market-y level. This level does get a little Looney Tunes though when it gives us an item that lets us spawn balloons attached to items in the level to pick different things up. So naturally when we see an anvil, the first thing that we do is drop the anvil on a spider with our balloons and earn the achievement That's All Folks. After our Looney Tunes adventures, it's time for a little paper jam on the office level paper trail. Now, for some reason, this office has radioactive spiders that can revive dead spiders back to life, and an RPG for some reason. So naturally, we run for our lives and get out of this level as quickly as possible. The last, or maybe second to last level, called Contingency Omega, takes place in some sort of vault. We make a quick pit stop to do some cheating at minigolf to earn the achievement Subpar. But the main task that we're doing on this level is collecting 3 key cards before we can initiate Contingency Omega. Now, we don't really know what this is when we launch it, but YOLO, right? We start to put together what's happened here when we see a distinctly bomb-shaped object lower from the ceiling. I get given the task to defend the bomb and kill 30 spiders that are approaching it. Now, this should be easy enough, but we actually kind of struggle because I'm just using the trusty pan here. And we actually get the message that we fail the mission, but then the bomb goes off anyway, and we earn the achievement The Only Way to Be Sure. And the game kind of cuts to a bright white screen. The game gives us a nice slow zoom across all of the levels that we've played up to this point. And then it gets capped off seeing the bomb swaying, and then the cloud as the bomb erupts. So I guess we took the only action we had left to get rid of all of these dang spiders. We had to take out society itself. After that big explosion scene, the credits roll, and obviously we only have 6 out of 27 achievements up to this point, so we have a lot to go back and do. We need to collect all of the bonus stuff, the batteries, the upgrades, everything, go through. There's some of the little quests that we didn't quite manage to get done the first time through, so now it's time to double back and do all of that. But after the credits finish rolling, we don't go back to the title screen. We actually end up in our office at Kill It With Fire HQ 3 months after we bombed the Earth. Somehow we survived that dead-on explosion, and we've got a couple things that we can do in this level, but we need to go back and finish some of those arachno gauntlets that we just passed up on the first time around before we can access those. So we can leave this level and go back to finishing up everything else first. Back on level 1, I accidentally hit the piano with my clipboard and play a tune, earning the achievement Ragtime. When I was loading up the game the next time, I also learned that I seem to have a lot more objectives than I was expecting to have left listed on our save file, so that will be important to know for later. Those extra objectives and some of those extra resources that we're missing out on at this point actually come from some more of the DLC stuff that was added later. There are some Christmas variations and Halloween variations to the levels that have new objectives that we can take on, but we'll worry about those a little bit later. And now that we're a little bit more experienced, we can go back to that level we skipped before down the spider hole and take another look at what's going on here and why we weren't able to complete a lot of those objectives from before. We finally get the chance to completely finish mowing the yard, earning us the achievement Home Turf for taking out all of the grass. It's actually most of the grass, as you can see, but the achievement called it all, so it's all. After wrapping up a couple objectives, we open up this door down to a secret bunker below the house. And we find that we have one more objective to reassemble this device on the wall. So there are 9 little grid pieces that were hidden throughout this level. I actually noticed them the first time around, but obviously I couldn't do anything with them until now. So these 9 spaces can be lit up with different items that we've picked up throughout the game. And the trick here is we're going to need to go back through each of the levels and find a secret hidden code in them to be able to open up this door. But before we start that process, we make a quick pit stop to pick up a couple easy achievements. We earn Live by the Sword for killing a spider with a C4. We earn the achievement From Downtown for killing a spider from a long distance away with the revolver. We earn the achievement Oil Boom for blowing up the entire gas station, finally. And we earn the achievement Spick and Span for finally breaking every single dish that was present in the kitchen level. So now that we've gone back and completed a couple more of those Arachno gauntlets, we can break into our partner's office and unlock the black light. So here we shine it on the wall and we see this grid pop up with a revolver in the center. So you can probably guess that this is that code that I was talking about for that door earlier. Now there's one of these codes in every one of the levels, and there is not a set pattern for this, and not a set place for this, so we have to go back through every single level and wander around pointing at the walls randomly trying to find this code. And as you can see, we're here stopped because I'm writing this down because the game does not track it. While we're stopped at the office though, we earn another quick achievement Out of Business for knocking all of the letters off of our sign here at the headquarters. So back to level 1, we do manage to find the grid, but it does take a little bit of searching. And going back through the levels isn't all bad because it gives us the chance to earn some achievements we missed the first couple times around, like achievement Sending a Message here. So as we move through these levels, tracking down all of the different codes, I'm kind of two minds about this thing. It's kind of a cool idea having these hidden codes throughout that you need to go back and really explore all of the levels to find, and some of them were easier than others, some of them took a little bit more doing. But it is kind of crazy that there was no set code or set location or anything. Really, we just had to look at any flat surface, and as you can see on some of these, they are a little bit harder to figure out than others. But, I mean, this wasn't really the biggest deal. This was added after the base game anyway, so it's kind of like a bonus thing. Which, I mean, if you think about it, is really how all achievement hunting is, so I don't know. It was cool, I guess. I also tried to print out some paperwork while we were back on the office level, and I just got so dang frustrated with the thing that I decided to blow it up with the RPG, earning the achievement Jam This. But now that we've gone through all of the levels again and collected all of the codes, we can finally pay this off. We input our code, and then it's time for us to claim our prize, our amazing award that was so deserved after going through all of that. And it's a shoe. I guess that's a good prize. Maybe we'll have to find the other one, but it's something at least. Right behind it is an Arachno gauntlet for killing 100 spiders with the shoe, which is kind of an undertaking because this is rough. The shoe isn't doing a whole lot of damage. But there is actually some upside here. We can get a couple of achievements that would have been a little bit difficult banged out here with all of these spiders spawning. First up, Line of Succession for promoting a spider up to be a queen. And then we earn the achievement Web of Lies for killing one of our ally spiders we created, and Tiny Game Hunter for killing one of each kind of spider. And we actually learned that while that 100 kills seemed pretty hard at first, as you get kills with the shoe, it gets more and more powerful, eventually turning into a mini nuke, which allows us to unlock the achievement Shoe Potential for reaching our shoe potential. So now that we've finished up that DLC ending to the game, it feels like maybe it's time to work on the actual ending of this game, facing the consequences. We slap down the button and get launched into another defense mission where there are a bunch of spiders crawling around and we need to kill a certain amount of them. And after we've killed all of them and completed that mission, we earn the achievement Unintended Consequences. As we look around trying to figure out what these consequences are, it becomes pretty clear when a giant spaceship covered in radioactive spiders comes creeping over the horizon line. Once the ship gets right above us, they shoot down a beam of light that naturally we just walk right into. So we float up to the ship and it cuts to black with the message, "The exterminator will return." And I suppose now that Kill It With Fire 2 is in early access, we know that that's true, and the exterminator did return. I guess. I haven't played it. So now, with that out of the way, I can go back to wrapping up the last couple achievements here, such as this one, High Voltage, for collecting every single battery in the game. In addition to those holiday modifiers we looked at earlier, and we'll still have to look at in a little bit, there's also a tiny mode that you can access, where you just become quite tiny. You can run around the levels, basically everything's the same, except your kinda Stuart Little mode. And after we complete a level, basically just killing the first 10 enemies we see, we can make it to the end and earn another achievement for that. Now back to Halloween mode, we can earn the achievement Knowledge is Power for finishing up our collection of all of the upgrades in the game. This one didn't have to be last, but it's just what I ended up doing. And likewise, in the last Christmas level, we earn the achievement Eclectic Tastes for collecting all of these snack weapon versions. Here I have kind of a weird bug. I have 2 levels left where I need to find one more Christmas ornament in each, but for some reason my scanner is showing an ornament that I've already picked up instead of the current one that I have left. And this added a lot more time than it needed to, but eventually we do manage to track down the ornaments, earning the achievements Ultimate Exterminator and Smarter Not Harder. So with the holiday modes out of the way, we have one achievement remaining. It's called MLG Pro for hitting a 360 shot with the AR on a spider. And with that, we have done everything in Kill It With Fire. So how did we do? HowLongToBeat.com has Kill It With Fire's 100% listed as 7 hours, and this took me 7 hours. So pretty good, HowLongToBeat.com. Though this game wasn't without flaw. There were a couple bugs, like I mentioned with the scanner at the end there. That one was kind of weird, but it only ate up a little bit of time, so, eventually I stopped trying to look at the place where it obviously wasn't and went and found where the actual ornaments were hidden. I think coming into this game, knowing what it is, kind of a silly little game where you're doing this one thing over and over, but in increasingly dramatic ways, is a pretty cool idea, and I enjoyed it a lot. I'm pretty excited to see what they do with Kill It With Fire 2, though I'll probably wait until it comes out of early access unless there is a lot of desire to see me take on that game right away. I'm really hoping they continue with the goofy items that they use as weapons in this game. I wish I would have gotten more use out of the balloon gun, but there just didn't seem like a lot of ways to utilize it. I tried to use it a couple times to stand on something and then boost me up in the air, but that's not really how that worked. I also think that this game was great to riff with. I think that was probably the best intro I've ever done for one of these, so I hope you enjoyed that and my little song that I wrote for it as well. So this was a good game, only 7 hours long, pretty quick to complete, and I had a pretty enjoyable time. I will say when trying to look things up about this game, because of the kind of indie nature of it and the updates that added content, a lot of the guides are pretty out of date. So if you've ended up here somehow and you're looking for advice on this game, feel free to leave a comment about that as well. Or you could leave a like, a subscription, or a comment on a game you'd like to see me play next for the series and 100%. Hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time. See ya!